What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my Unit Review series for Fire Emblem Heroes. And in this video we're going to be taking a look at Brunnya, and in my opinion she is one of the best free-to-play units that we have got so far. And by the end of this video you will know why I think that, and these are the topics I'm going to be discussing in this video, so let us begin.
Finally, a test.
Brunnya is a blue mage infantry unit that we have got from the Tempest Trial. Looking at her stats, her HP is pretty good for a mage. She's got good attack at base 35, low speed at 31, and pretty low defense at 21 as well. She does have pretty good resistance at 36, which definitely makes it harder for her to get ployed or get sabotaged. And in times like these where I might get demonetized for taking the name of this skill, which Brunnya really likes, I really want to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. You've already heard about Raid everywhere, but there's a great reason for it. Raid is one of the top 3 ranked RPGs on Google Play Store. The game is crazy popular, almost 15 million downloads in last 6 months. So what is Raid? It's an epic dark fantasy game done right, a hero collection turn-based game with over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. You can enjoy a fully voiced story campaign, raid with friends in a clan, explore 1 million plus champion builds, gather orcs, undead knights, elves and more, and the best part is it's free to play. Raid is adding more than 14 new champions every month, so there's always new strategies, new balance, and new warriors to play with. You can get tons of free champions, equipment, and other cool stuff just for learning to play. These missions help you progress in a fun and easy way while you get extra rewards for each mission, and the best part is, once you complete these missions, you will get one of the best legendary champions in the game, the Arbiter. The game is growing super fast, and check out the school roadmap they've published. They actually have huge plans for updates in the game for over 6 months, so there is an infinite content for you to enjoy and no time to get bored. New faction, attack team arena feature, and even new clan boss you will be able to fight with your clanmates. You can find me in the game under the nickname Phoenix Master 1, so go to the video description and click on the special links and you will get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. And now let us continue with our video. So looking at her stats, on paper it might seem that she's not really all that impressive, especially when you compare her to other mages. However, her real potential comes with Fimble Vetter, her exclusive weapon. I'm really glad that this is finally in the game, and this gives her +3 resistance, and this has got the same effect as a Dun's weapon, where if she's got any kind of penalty active on herself, here penalty is anything like a debuff from a chill skill or ploy skill, or any kind of negative status like movement restriction or a flash status, stuff like that, then she's able to get +4 to all of her stats if any of that penalty is on her. Or if she's not at full health, she's able to get extra stats during the combat. So she's got 2 options by which you can get more stats during the combat with this weapon. And ignoring the debuffs is absolutely huge because debuffs are everywhere, chill skills are everywhere. There are shrine structures in ether raids, there are dagger units who have innate debuffs. So like ignoring debuffs is absolutely amazing, and that too on a free to play unit. So Fimble Vetter gives her excellent niche, and we're going to be talking more about this with the build section as well. So she's got Death Blow 3 as her slotted skill, which is a pretty good skill. She does have 35 base attack, it's nice for getting more damage. Rest Smoke is her slotsy skill, which is finally available on a Grail unit, and Glacies is her special. Glacies is definitely not the best one. You could definitely go with Glimmer or Iceberg. Those two are better in my opinion, and she's got 162 BST. Now when you judge Brunnya, you also have to keep in mind that it's pretty easy for her to get +4 to all of her stats with this weapon and just ignore any kind of debuffs. Brunnya is immune to debuffs, but it doesn't mean that the other skills like Killing Intent and Blizzard Tome from Gunthra and stuff like that will not work on Brunnya. They're definitely going to be working, and they're going to be taking the advantage of the debuff present on Brunnya. It's just that Brunnya doesn't take any kind of negative effect of a debuff. And even though her weapon is going to be getting activated with something like panic status or movement restriction, she doesn't really nullify that movement restriction or panic status. If she's gonna get affected by panic, sure, her weapon is gonna get activated, but all of her buffs are gonna be getting turned into debuffs. And once again, Brunnya is not gonna be held back by the debuffs, and it's just that she's not gonna be having buffs because panic status does convert your buffs into penalties. So keeping that in mind is really important, so don't just put your Brunnya into the range of the panic manner when she has got some buffs going on. So even though she doesn't have greatest speed at 31, with this weapon and its activation she can have 35 speed, which is not really all that bad. It's definitely workable. And we can also compare her to some of the other easily available blue mages because comparisons are going to be inevitable in this kind of class type. So here we have got Fallen Delthea, which we got this year as a blue infantry mage, May as well, who's a pretty good nuke, and she also got her weapon refined. Now if you take a look at Delthea, both of their stat lines seem pretty similar except the fact that Delthea has got more speed and a bit more attack. And she also has her weapon, Death, which can make it easy for her to fall into desperation range and vantage range, stuff like that. So Delthea just appears to be much better offensively, but the thing is that Delthea is forced into that offensive role because of her weapon. But on the other hand, Brunnya is much more versatile and way more flexible. She can also act as an offensive unit, as a defensive unit, and she's much better with the latter because offensively, there's always gonna be some kind of blue mage that's gonna get released who is big bad and does more damage. But defensively, like Fimbulvetr, the fact that she can ignore debuffs and it's so easy to trigger it is definitely setting her apart. She's got more resistance than Delthea, so that's also really good. May is also easily available, but she doesn't really have the bulk which Brunnya has got with her HP and her defense and resistance. But May is just better as a nuke because of her weapon and her attack. Now you might say that Eden has got way more stats than Brunnya, and she also has the armor effectiveness with her weapon. But the thing with Brunnya is that she's got better mobility than Eden, and she also does not have weakness to armor sling or dragon sling weapons. So that is huge, and she's able to run infantry only skills like Null Counter Disrupt, which is just huge. It's amazing for a tank like her. Brunnya is way better than what she appears to be at first because of Fimbulvetr. As I said, in the meta, right now debuffs are really popular, and as time goes on, I would assume that more debuffing skills and stuff like that are gonna get even more common. So her weapon is a huge boon because she's able to be immune to those kinds of debuffs. Her stat line might not seem all that impressive, but the extra stats from Fimbulvetr definitely helps a lot, and she definitely has quite a bit of flexibility and versatility even with that kind of stat line, and we're going to be going over that in my build section. So overall, Brunnya just comes with a really appropriate weapon, which is really useful, and her stat line isn't really all that bad. She does have Red Smoke at 4-star rarity, so if you want to fodder her off, you could definitely do that. But merging her is definitely going to be more useful in the long term, but still, if you don't want to merge her, then Red Smoke is best used on units like Close Counter Vantage Blade Tome units, where you want to reduce the resistance of the enemy for easy Vantage sweeping, and you can also use this on mages who want to use AoE specials, because reducing resistance of your foes is going to be helping you a lot with any kind of AoE special. And if you do decide to merge her instead of foddering her, then here's what she's going to be looking like. She gets 1 extra point in HP, attack, and resistance upon +1 merge. As we know, for neutral IV units, whenever you merge them with their first merge, they get 3 total extra stat points to their highest base stats. So she's able to get these. The extra attack and the magical bulk is going to be really useful. And even if you do not want a plus in merger, that +1 merge is still pretty good in my opinion.
Bern is the mightiest nation in the land. For us to lose is unthinkable.
The Tempest Trial in which you get her has got pretty bad bonus unit selection, and the only other choice you have is Ray if you are not going to be using Brunnya, so I assume that most people are going to be using Brunnya as their bonus unit in Tempest Trial. And in that case, this is the budget build for you. All you need to do is run Renewal and have Close Defense. Close Defense is there so that if the AI throws her into the range of melee range units, she can at least survive. Renewal is really nice for staying healthy, and you don't want to run any kind of assist skill because you will get stuck in reposition drawback loop if you use auto battle. The next build is kind of boring, but it's definitely practical. Fury, Desperation, and Brazen Seal do have good synergy, and Fury does synergize pretty well with Fimbulvetr activating her condition, and she can be a really good offensive unit with this build even with no burges because she's able to reach 63 attack, 45 speed, and her bulk is also not all that bad if her weapon is active. Fury 4 can also be run if you want to, but it's definitely a pretty expensive option. Her next build is a budget Ether Raids offense build for the light season. This build does include buffs from 2 air in the light season, as it says right there. So it's very easy to trigger her weapon in Ether Raids, as I said, because most of the defense teams do run the shield skills, especially now that shield skills are present as sacred seals. It's really easy to slap them on any kind of defense team, and there are also the shrine structures, so she's going to be completely immune to those kinds of debuffs, and she's overall a really great counter pick unit against any kind of mage heavy team because she can reach 54 resistance with this build. Dull range is definitely required for you to nullify Blade Tome nukes and Legendary Azura, and Soul is definitely important for survival. And the biggest strength of this build is that she's immune to chill resistance and dark shrine debuffs, but still, even though she's immune to that chill resistance debuff, it is still gonna get counted in the AoE damage when someone like Ophelia attacks her. And once a while, you're definitely gonna be facing those kinds of teams which are heavily reliant on mages. They will have like 2 physical attackers, and one of them is probably gonna be a dancer like Ninian or Sylvia. So you could just snipe their melee range units and just take care of the mages with this kind of build. Her 4th build is an offensive build, and as I said before, with Fimble Vetter, her speed does become workable at 35, and this build does just that with attack speed push. So push skills do have pretty good synergy with her weapon, especially tier 4 push skills, because they are really powerful, and you can use this to your advantage to trigger her weapon, also get into the range of Desperation and Brace and Seal, and just be really powerful. So she can reach 67 attack and 49 speed with this weapon. And yes, 49 speed, she can reach that on merge. So if you have more merges on her, you could definitely run something like Brazen Attack Defense instead. But it's definitely a pretty expensive build. And we're kind of alternating between an offensive and a defensive build. So the next build is a defensive build. It's a bit more expensive than the 3rd build. It uses Distant Defense 4 and Null Counter Disrupt. She is really good mage check, as I said before, in the 3rd build, and this build just takes it even further. She's not going to be having close counter, obviously. This is just a mage check build, which you can counter pick against certain teams. And as I said before, you're definitely going to be facing those kinds of teams once a while, where you could just snipe their melee range units and just clean up their mages easily with a build like this. Distant Defense 4 is really good for nullifying any kind of buffs of the ranged foes. Null Counter Disrupt means that you can take on Dazzling Staff units and also Fire Sweep Bow units. And you can also run Pulse Smoke on Slot C. It's gonna be even more expensive, but that's definitely an option. And it can be used in Astra Season as well, because she's gonna be having a bit more balanced build. But still, like, this is not her final form when it comes to being defensive and being a tank. And this is not even her final form when it comes to being a tank. Her next build is actually for Aether Raid's defense. So she can be used for Aether Raid's defense with Thracier in the Anima season. She does work well with her because she's immune to the debuffs from her weapon, and that activates Fimble Vetter too. And she can act as a good Infantry Pulse support unit in an Infantry Pulse Aether Raid's defense teams. Those are pretty easy to put up, and I myself use one. It has been doing amazingly for me over all of these months. And you can just run a budget build with Wings of Mercy Deathblow. She does provide the color coverage when you use her with Thracier, but the problem is that she doesn't really hit as hard as some of the other blue mages like Ophelia or May. And because of her high HP, it's not going to be all that easy for you to give her the Infantry Pulse support unless you're using some kind of high HP unit like Seliph. But most of the time, it's going to be really hard, and she's just going to be giving the Infantry Pulse support and not really taking it. The next build is more of a support build. The basic idea for this build is to just use her good resistance to trigger Sabotage attack and to also trigger the ploy skills. And having Fury 3 or Fury 4 can be helpful in absorbing shields and shrines for your team if she is invested with merges and stuff. So there she could be useful for absorbing those kinds of debuffs because she doesn't really care about those debuffs. It's definitely not one of her best builds, but still it's an option nonetheless. And her 8th build is a max investment Aether Raids offense build. This is Brunnya at her peak performance, and this is why I think Brunnya is one of the best free-to-play units that we have been given, because she can act as a super tank and not really care about debuffs, and that is huge, because when you're a super tank in Aether Raids, debuffs get attracted to you just like how moths get attracted to any kind of light. You're gonna be targeted by any kind of shield skill, these shrine structures, and Brunnya doesn't care about that. And in my opinion, that's a big strength in this meta right now. And even in future, like, this is gonna be really helpful. And her bulk is not really all that bad. She does have good HP. And it's more preferred to use her in the Astra season because she already has pretty good resistance. And balancing her bulk is gonna be improving her as a tank in general. So that's why I think Astra is a better season for her. With this build, she's able to reach really high attack at 71 attack, 46 speed, 46 defense, and 52 resistance. And because she's an infantry unit, she can run Null Counter Disrupt, so she can take care of those annoying Fire Sweep weapon users and the Dazzling Staff units. That's amazing. She can also run Pulse Smoke, which is extremely good against Infantry Pulse teams, which are pretty common, and as I said, I use one myself, so please don't use Pulse Smoke against me. But yeah, it's a really good option on her, and you want to use Noontime or Soul, which is going to be important for you for survival. And you can also run HP Attack 2 Seal in place of Fierce Stance if you want to avoid max level panic manners and tactic rooms, which is just really useful that she's able to avoid those being a range unit. But you can also run Fierce Stance if you just want more healing and more damage output in the enemy phase. And the big drawback of this build is that Thracier is an Anima Mythic Heroes, and Anima season is always going to be there with the Astra season, so Thracier is going to be very annoying to deal with. As I said in the start, even though Brunnya is unaffected by debuffs, it doesn't really stop the skills which work on debuffs to activate. So killing Intent from Thracier is still going to be activating, and Thracier is going to be using that against Brunnya. Even though Brunnya is going to be having the Weapon Strangle disadvantage, it doesn't mean that she's going to be outright getting knocked out by Thracier. It's just going to be that it's going to be hard for you to take out Thracier herself, and she's just going to be a roadblock. So that could be annoying, but other than that, she's a fantastic tank. It's a really expensive build, but Brunnya can use all of those premium skills so well with Fimbulvetr. Her next build is also a max investment build. It's differing from the last build a bit with Special Spiral. So it's basically there so that you can get more recovery with Soul. And if you don't really care about Null Counter Disrupt, and if you don't really face those kinds of team much, then this is definitely the option, because she's able to heal a lot of HP, and this just gives her a better longevity. The 10th and the final build for her is for Aether Raid's defense. So if you're going to be plus emerging her, she can also be used in Aether Raid's defense. Once again, you know, she doesn't have the power of Ophelia or anything like that, but she has her own strength with the fact that she can be really bulky with something like Sturdy Impact. She can also use lull attack speed, so she can just nullify any kind of attack buff which the foe has got, so that just increases her bulk. And as I said before, she's a really good infantry pulse unit, and with more merges it just gets even better. You could run some other Sacred Seal, it really depends on your Aether Raid's defense team. So these are the build options for Brunnya. She is definitely pretty versatile.
Burn will triumph.
Thracier is a good teammate because of the synergy between their weapons. Thracier doesn't really hurt Brunnya, and Brunnya can also cover the color for Thracier by taking care of the red units. Brunnya is going to be struggling against some really common green units, so you need to have some strong red units to take care of them. And if you're going to be using the Aether Raid's tank build with her, you could run a support unit like Kaden or Male Corrin, but once again, you have to watch out for panic status, because panic status means that Brunnya will not have the buffs, and it also means that Kaden will not be able to support her as well. So panic is definitely something you have to watch out for when using Kaden. And of course, Legendary Azura, who can be used in the water seasons to buff up Brunnya to the max. As for her counters, you definitely have to watch out for these common Aether Raid's defense threats. Thracier, as I said, is going to be annoying, so Thracier is both a friend and a foe for Brunnya. Brave Ike is also being used as a frontline unit a lot nowadays, I've been seeing. He also is used as an infantry pulse support unit, and after his refine, he definitely has a lot of usage, so Brave Ike is going to be super annoying. If you use Brunnya in the light season, then Yuna is definitely something she's going to be facing, but overall I think that Yuna is not really as threatening as Thracier in the Anima season. So with a mage tank build, Brunnya can definitely take on Yuna, but like Yuna does have pretty high resistance, so that could be annoying to take down. And in general, like high resistance units like Nagi, Brave Micaiah, and Felicia, the latter two, which I do see from time to time in Aether Raid's defense, could be annoying.
I will face my fate.
You're gonna be needing 2,700 grails to plus an Emerger. The two big things which she has going for her is the fact that she is immune to debuffs, and she's a really versatile unit, as you saw with the builds. And she can be a really great Aether Raid's tank, so that's really great as a free-to-play option. And debuffs are everywhere with shield skills, ploy skills, shrine structures, and they're gonna be increasing as we get more skills. I have a feeling like in few months we might get Sabotage seals. So in that case, like she's a really strong free-to-play investment because of her merits. Now there are definitely some reasons why you may not want to invest into her. If you're looking for an offensive mage, then she's not really the best at it. As I said before, there are better nukes which you could use in Aether Raid's defense, and in general for other content in the game, there are more offensive blue mages and are probably going to get released even in future. And it's harder to merge Brunnya when you compare her to someone like Fallen Delthea, who's a free-to-play unit, and Mei, who's easily available at 3-star, 4-star. So in that case, you're going to be requiring a lot of grails. I can definitely see a lot of people investing into her with their Heroic Grails, not only because she's got really good art and really good voice acting, and one of the best free-to-play units which we have got in recent times. Personally, that's what I think. And a lot of people are going to be running that Aether Raid's tank build. So I'm really interested in seeing how Brunnya will do even in future, like 6-7 months from now, when more debuff skills are introduced on other units as exclusive skills and stuff like that. And she cares about debuffs as much as Zephiel cares about humans, so that's a pretty big strength. And that's gonna be it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like. It is gonna be helping me tremendously, and if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content and also Three Houses content. And please be sure to hit the notification bell and click on all, so that you can always get the updates to my videos whenever I upload, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as debuffs on Brunnya. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.